So, about to get started. Purpose of today is actually an educational video. So I don't imagine too many of the people who follow me are actually going to be too interested in this, because most of you guys have seen me play Phas. We've played Phas together. I met you because of Phas, that type of thing, so probably be kind of a snooze fest, but ultimately I do want to post this on my very small, tiny YouTube to reach all one person that'll probably see it. But even if it helps one person, you know, that's a W for me. Because I've really taken to recently watching newer players playing Phasmophobia, and I've seen a lot of things that, while very hilarious, um, if anyone had ever explained it to them, could really just be avoided. So, obviously, doing this single player, not going to go into multiplayer. I'll probably go over some nuances with that because I see some other hilarious things related directly to that. Um, But here's how we're going to get started. So this would be if you started, you downloaded today, this is pretty much what you would see. Obviously, you would not have a prestige number. You wouldn't be level 56. You'd be 001. I can't undo my level, so just pretend that's level 1. Uh, but the first thing we're going to do is when you first open up the game, this is how it's going to look. All right, you're going to have this equipment. It's preloaded, didn't cost you anything. If you die, you don't necessarily lose it because these are the things that are loaded in that you need in order to be functional in the game. The only difficulty you'll have unlocked is amateur, so that's going to be default as well. This will look a little bit different because I obviously have unlocked the maps. The only map that will be available is this one, which is Tanglewood Drive. The holiday event is still going on, which is why some of the maps have the little present on them. I imagine in the next couple of days those are going to disappear, but the maps will look a little bit different if they have the present on them because it's an event map. So there's little lights and stuff, which like you'll see in the lobby, little holiday lights and the Christmas tree, all that good stuff. You have little games up here. Those won't go away. Those are always there. Yeah, that's why that looks the way it does. Yeah. We'll get started. So a couple of things I will say, since I do play on PC, I don't have it. Well, I have it on console. I don't play it on console. I don't know the controls for console, so if you're looking like directly for what your controls are for a certain function, if you go into your pause menu and you go to options, go to controls, that'll tell you everything that you have it bound to. Like I said, I've changed mine because I use a gamepad. I don't use my full-size keyboard in this game because I don't have to. There's not a lot of buttons that you need to push. But you'll know how to grab, crouch, run, place. This is really important when using your book, the actual spirit writing book, ghost writing book, whatever they call it. Special would be for like if you have a flashlight in your hand, instead of having to scroll to your flashlight to turn it off, you can use that button to turn it off without scrolling to it. Headgear toggle, that'll be when you have a headset, you can turn it on and off with that button. Journal, obviously that's what I'm in right now. These two are important, and I'm probably going to change one of these settings in just 1 second. Your local push to talk, that's your proximity chat. Most people have it voice activation, so if you're in a multiplayer lobby and you have it on voice activation, when you're close to people and you're talking, you'll talk, they'll hear you, you'll hear them, that type of thing. The further away you are, the harder it is to hear. But you can put it on push to talk, which is really good if you are streaming and you're in, like, I like to go into public lobbies sometimes, and so sometimes I have commentary or I'm talking to chat, and so that I don't confuse, like, the people in the lobby, I put it on push to talk, so when I'm talking to chat, I don't have to do anything, I just talk. But when I'm speaking to the team members in the lobby, I can push to talk to them. Or in this case, I'll probably enable my push to talk for the simple fact that I'll be explaining things, and in the game, the ghost can hear you speaking, and there's certain ones that like can hunt at a higher sanity based on voices around them. So I'll put it on push to talk so that while I'm explaining, I don't like expose myself during a hunt, or I don't get hunted because I'm talking, or that type of thing. Just so the ghost kind of basically largely ignores me while I'm explaining things. Your global push to talk, that's your mic or your walkie-talkie. So if you're in a match with other people and they are not close to you, since it is proximity chat, you would use your global push to talk button. You hold it down. You speak, say what you need to say. let go, just like a regular walkie-talkie. It'll be whatever it's bound to based on whether you're on console or PC. And then to change this local push-to-talk piece, you just go into audio. As you can see, it's on voice activation. We're going to put that on push-to-talk now so that, like I said, I don't get ganked by a ghost while I'm doing stuff. So, we will go into a match. We're going to run through what it's like, just kind of your first go around, and then we'll go over some of the other nuances, that type of thing, but I do want to kind of jump into what we're doing. So this, pretend you don't see all these other maps. They're not real. The only map that's unlocked is this one. All these other pictures look just like this random one, but they have a lock symbol on them. So you would ready up. If you do have other people in the lobby with you, they'll also have to ready up, and then whoever hosted the lobby will hit start. All right.
Check the equipment and get set up before investigating. Nothing to report, but it looks like whoever was here left in a hurry.
All right. So that voice, I call him Richard for my own reasons. Basically, what he says, I mean this in the nicest way possible, doesn't really mean anything. It's just kind of to set the mood, set the ambiance. Hey, Cass! He's just there. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't base your investigation on what that voice says when you first come in. It literally is just one of those things like setting the mood. It will not affect what your ghost is. It will not. If it says they were summoned with a cursed object, it doesn't mean that you're going to have a phantom or something. It just means this guy is just trying to give you, you know, some spooks. He just wants to spook you. All right. The second thing we'll go over is this right here. So on amateur, you'll see this 5-minute timer up here. That timer doesn't start. He does like us. He does. The timer. Oh, hey, chef. The timer doesn't start until you open the door to the house or high school, whatever the building is. Does not start until you take the key, unlock the door. In amateur, you have a 5-minute setup time. Intermediates 2, professional 0, and then it'll go on as the modes get more difficult. But for this one, just as we're focusing just on the starting off, you have a 5-minute setup time. That means when you go in, you have time to find your ghost room, set up your equipment, and do your investigation before the ghost will actually start hunting. But the hunt will also go off of your sanity, so don't think just because this goes down to 0 that your life is in danger and the ghost is going to murk you because it hit 0. If you still have 100% sanity, there's really only one ghost that can hunt you at that point. That would be a demon. It would be unfortunate. But you know, it's like that sometimes. I don't want to worry about it too much. You'll probably find the ghost room before then. Hopefully. Alright, so the next piece you'll look at, this is your case. This tells you the ghost name. I'm going to be honest with you. I hear other people use it all the time. They go in, they try to agitate the ghost by being like, hey Kyle, hey Kyle, hey Kyle. Whatever. I don't ever use his name. You can if you want. Go for it. Not really my thing. I don't care what his name is. This piece right here, and this is really important because I see a lot of people doing this, alright? Responds to everyone, okay? This means when you go in and you're using the spirit box in particular, it will respond no matter how many people are in the room. Now, the other variable here is it'll say people who are alone, which would mean one person in the ghost room asking questions. No one else in the ghost room. They can still be in the house. You gotta love the banshee scream. That's a banshee scream, which you guys definitely want to know that sound at some point in time so you know what you're listening for on Parabolic. Scared Cass. But if you're in there, please do not think if it says it responds to people who are alone that you have to be like a martyr or turn your friends into sacrifices where like they have to go in the house by themselves and no one else can be in there or whatever. You don't have to close the door. It's nothing like that. This literally, this one thing is just for Spirit Box. So don't pay it any mind. You can have 100, well, you can't have 100 people because you can only have 4 people in the lobby, but all 4 people could be in the room and you'll get your EMF, you'll get dots, you'll get Ghost Orb. Does not matter. Just Spirit Box. Okay? No more sacrifices. And then you have your objectives. When you first start, a lot of these you're not going to be able to do because you don't have incense, you don't have a crucifix, can't do any of these, right? So, yes, Cass has got me with the paramic more than one time. So that's incidental. There would be some on here you can do when you first start off, like getting an average sanity below 25% and that type of thing. But as it currently stands, we can't even complete any of these. And then this, when you do have a camera set up, you'll be able to come here and you can see what's going on inside. Don't have it set up yet. Alright, so then you have these screens. This is your house. Tanglewood has 2 floors. The thing that this is really going to be useful for in the first couple of difficulties, and I think up until you hit Nightmare, you'll be able to see where your breaker is. So in Tanglewood right now, it's in the basement. The other place it can be is in the garage. But just so you know, if the ghost turns off the lights, you can go down here, you can turn them back on. In Amateur, they start on, so you don't need to run down there and turn them on eventually or immediately. I can't say words. Oh, hey, Fallen. So super easy stuff, right? So Amateur's definitely easy. Oh, you're totally fine. Not even a concern. Alright, so when I go into the house, the things I usually take, if I actually have the things, which for this purpose I did not, would be a crucifix, EMF, and a thermometer are often what I'll take. When you're first starting off, you might want to take your flashlight. I'm going to be honest, I know the house well enough, I know where the lights are. I'm not going to take the flashlight because it takes one of the 3 spots in my hand, and I don't feel like doing that. So I'm going to take my thermometer, I'll take the EMF, and I'll take the camera. Because the camera... I'm going to have to show you guys the potato too. The camera has night vision, so if it did turn off the lights, I'm just going to take this camera and I'm going to go turn the lights back on. I hate carrying the flashlight. I'm going to be very honest with you. Alright, so gonna come in. It's already cold outside, so this is important too. It's cold outside, it's snowing. If the breaker's off, it's gonna be cold inside. That's what it is. It'll be warmer when the lights are on. I will definitely show everybody the potato. So when you're looking for the ghost room's gonna be the coldest room. And on Amateur, it does not change rooms, so you don't have to worry that like you're gonna find the room and then it's gonna change, it's gonna kill you. This is an event box. This doesn't mean anything. This isn't a cursed object. It's just event points. It'll go away in a few days, so don't even worry about that. It's going up to 68. This is not the ghost room. I'm gonna turn off the light, gonna close the door. I'm actually thinking it might be in this hallway because it was cold when I first walked in. The breaker's on. There's really no reason for it to be this cold in this hallway otherwise. Yeah, it's just steadily dropping. Well, oh, it's going back up. Going back down. I hate the tier 1 equipment. I will tell you it gets a lot easier once you start moving up. When you start having digital. I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure he's in this hallway. So I'm just gonna start it here. I'll turn this guy on. Make sure you turn it on. When I first started, I walked around with this thing turned off. I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna find the ghost that way. Oh, look, tarot cards! We'll go over cursed objects later. My advice to anybody, if this is your first time playing the game, don't mess with the cursed object. Just don't. Wait until you have defense items like your... He's in the kitchen. The defense items, like incense or your crucifix and that type of thing. My God, you're active in here, my guy. I'm gonna need to attempt to go... What is what are you, a poltergeist? This guy's going crazy in here, but it's not cold in here. Is he in the dining room? I haven't seen my breath yet. That's the other... Twins? So the other tell is you'll see your breath in the ghost room. Usually after your setup time. I'm not really sure where this ghost is. I thought he was in that hallway because it's cold. But I'm thinking he's somewhere close to the kitchen because he is throwing everything in there. Garage? Not garage. Okay, don't know. He is not in there. I will say the one thing I hate about the long setup time is the fact that it does take a hot minute to figure out where the ghost is because the temps don't drop. You don't really see your breath until it's over. Oh, thanks, Cass. That actually scared the crap out of me. Okay, this ghost is making me unhappy. Is he in the living room? No, right? There's no shot. He's not in this. And now he's throwing stuff over here. Okay, he's just a roamer. He just doesn't like me. It's fine. I was right the first time. He's over here. So, next on the agenda, I'll see if there's any ghost orbs. You don't have to turn off the light to do that. I just do because it's easier to see. Oh, now I see my breath. See? Now, if the lights and the power were off... Oh, yeah, now we're touching stuff. Good, 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 good. Oh, we're touching all the things. Alright, so we'll just put this right here. He's probably going to throw it. I don't have a tripod equipped, obviously, since this is like a run-through of your very first time. So, that's not going to be there. Oh, you're a feisty one, huh? Okay, so I also want to say with this activity monitor, now there's a lot of things you can use this for, right? Like, I can look at this sometimes, I can see if it's a twins, I can tell if it's a poltergeist, like, there's certain things you'll see on here, ghost events, EMF 5, that type of thing. It's not ever guaranteed. There are definitely things that can bamboozle you on here. So don't ever look at it as, like, the honest, like, to God source of truth for everything. But the thing I definitely see a lot of newer people do is they'll see this spike all the way up to 10, right? And then they're like, oh my god, run out of the house. It's gonna get us. It's not. It's just throwing stuff. It's just active. Alright, I still have 10 seconds of setup time. It's not like it's hunting me. It's not gonna kill me, most likely, hopefully. It's not a demon. So I wouldn't use this as like that test of whether or not it's safe to be in the house. I would look more at your sanity, because most ghosts are gonna hunt around an average of 50%. There's exceptions. That'll probably be a different video. But for the purpose of, like, you just got started, until your sanity as a group or an individual drops, don't worry so much. So we're going to take these dots. He's definitely touching stuff. We'll take UV, and we'll take the book. Hopefully this homie doesn't turn off my lights. I'll be very sad. Hydrate. Man, I have to drink water. Alright. We're hydrated. So, I think it might be. I think so. So, the dots are placeable. And I'm not sure where I want to put them because this hallway is kind of weird. It's basically this little area and then from the door to kind of where the living room starts. I'm going to put them here. Again, you'll need to look at your... I can't speak English, guys. It's very bad. Oh, yay! Cass, thanks for the gifted sub. So you'll place it whatever your console or, you know, computer keybinds are, and then I'll just set it there. Hopefully that'll get this guy wherever he happens to be. I don't have a motion sensor, so I don't have any way to test that. He hasn't touched anything while I'm... Oh, so there's UV. That's what the UV looks like. So when you get your evidence, you'll go into your journal, whatever your keybinds are, go over to evidence, hit UV. That'll take off some of the ghosts that it can't be. So that's our first piece of evidence. That's wonderful. I love how an amateur, that just stays forever. Oh my god, it's been on there. I don't think that guy's touched his door in like 10 minutes. Okay. A little excited. So something else you can do, and you can't do this once you get the glow stick, okay? But with the tier 1 and tier 3, if you have your camera and you look right up in the air, you can throw that down like that and it'll kind of keep that there. So when you do have a photo camera, if you want to get a photo of that and you're by yourself, easy way to hold the UV, quote unquote, and get your photo. Alright, I also have this book. The book, this is another one, you have to place the book. Okay, so if you hold on, let me pick it up real quick. Let's just say, and I see this way too often, people do this. You're not going to get ghost writing because you did not place it. If you don't place it like this, the ghost won't use it, ghost won't write in it. We're not at freezing yet, but it's definitely cold. All right. I'm wondering if I should put the camera in here. Oh, look at this guy. The other thing we can look for... Let's see. That's a regular handprint. You can look for Obaki evidence, which would be... Man, you're a handsy guy. You're probably a banshee. Do something. You're not doing anything. So this is the other thing, too. Especially on 3 evidence. Unless the ghost, like, picks this book up and throws it across the room, I'm probably not going to mark off ghost writing or anything, because sometimes it takes the ghost a little while to give you that evidence, and people prematurely mark it off, and then they're like, oh, well, it can't be this, I didn't get this, and they're like, oh my god, it was spirit box, but I didn't get it. Sometimes it takes a while. They're not always easy on giving up that evidence. Alright. The only thing I have not taken in is spirit box. So now I can go in here, I can look at this. I hate not having it on a tripod, but just for realsies here, this is pretty much what you're gonna do, right? Not a whole lot of anything. Have not seen dots yet. Goryo is on the table though, so we're gonna go over that one in a second. Let's see if we get spirit box. I guess I can carry this now. I don't have anything else. Alright, so the fun thing about the spirit box, so like I said, you know, this ghost responds to everyone. I'm by myself, so I am everyone, but that would just mean if I had people with me, they could also stand here. What you have to do, though, while I don't have to close any doors, I will have to turn off the light. He is not responding to me. Alright, I'm not getting anything there. So, let me check something. Ghost. So you can go over here, you can see different things. The only thing I use the ghost tab for is if I have suspicion that it's a certain ghost, like what would I be looking for with that? DMF5. I haven't gotten that yet. I'm gonna try this. No. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep it like that. And then I'm gonna put this there. Okay. So, I have some suspicions because I can't speak English. He's officially... Oh my god, it's a poltergeist. So, that was a thing that just happened, so I didn't get any evidence. Now, I feel like this is cheating. So, what would I need to get to prove it's a poltergeist? Hold on, let me go look. Poltergeist, a spirit box, a ghost writing. That really wrote in the book yet? So the reason I originally thought it was a Goryo, so there's only a couple of ways that you can show a Goryo. And so the Goryo will appear on dots, but not with your eyes. So when you see a Goryo on dots, you have to see it on video, which you can do by standing in a different room and seeing it roam through the dots, or you can go to the truck and watch for it to pass through dots while in the truck. But he's not going to do it while you're standing in the room, and you're not going to see it with your naked eye, like a lot of the other ghosts. So the reason I said that was a poltergeist is because he just picked up multiple objects and threw them all at one time. It's the only ghost that can throw multiple objects at one time. Any ghost can throw stuff. They all can. That's 100% something they do. But as far as, like, being able to do it with multiple ones, only one guy can do that. And you can't move. Why is it warm? Don't play with me. Do I have the ghost room wrong? I see my... Oh, there you are! There's my ghost writing. So, like I said, sometimes the ghost takes his dear sweet time. He just doesn't feel like doing it on your timeline. So you have to be patient. He was 31 yesterday. He ages fast. You're so silly. He aged like a fae. So I'll try to get that last piece of evidence, which for the poltergeist would be spirit box. Turn these off again. Talk. There we go. Alright, so now it finally talked to me. Like I said, that's why I don't cross stuff off usually, because sometimes the ghost is just kind of an a-hole and it won't just give you the evidence, so you have to keep trying. I know it's a little sketchy when you don't have your defense items and you're new and you just started and you don't know what the hell's going on, but at the end of the day, sometimes it just takes longer. Freezing temps and dots are like, I aged profoundly, like waiting to get those pieces of evidence. So don't be discouraged. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. But like I said, once you start to know the ghost, you'll kind of know like before it even happens. This one, like I said, was super easy. I was standing here. It threw this book, this picture, something else. It threw like 2 or 3 things at one time. It's a poltergeist thing. Only they can do it. But any ghost can throw stuff. Just not that much stuff.
You want this downstairs or
Downstairs. Alright, so I went back and got the evidence, even though I knew what it was with without it. So once you've, you know, checked off your evidence, it'll tell you what it is. And then you can hit the button, you go. Like I said, we can't do optional objectives, can't take photos, because when you first start, you don't have any of that. But you'll go ahead and go. Like I said, don't mess with the cursed object, unless you really just like to troll yourself and your friends. But when you're first starting and you're trying to get money and you're trying to get those defensive type, you know, unlocks, I'd recommend focusing on identifying the ghost and living before I focus on messing with things that could get you killed, because then it's going to take 50% of your profits. So another thing that you'll notice when I left, I didn't go back in to get my equipment. Apparently that's a thing that some newer people think you have to do. You don't gotta do that. Just leave it there. The only time you lose your equipment is if you die. I also didn't get the bone because I really didn't care. But you don't have to go back for it. As long as you live, you keep your stuff. So don't even worry about that. Alright. So that's pretty much how that goes. So what we're gonna go over now, just as far as like after that investigation, as you'll notice, so like I was collecting my evidence, like let's just say like I got the UV first and I had all these ghosts. What a lot of people will do once they get like their first piece of evidence, or they've been walking around in the dark and dying because walking around in the dark drains your sanity, they'll start making guesses based on like, oh, maybe it's a banshee. What does it say for banshee? It sings. Oh, well, it did sing that one time. Okay. Stop looking at this. Like, look at this. You need the evidence, right? If you're doing a 3 evidence run. But a lot of this is BS. Okay? And I'm not saying that there isn't truth to it, but this is not going to help you actually figure out what the ghost is. And so I say that because there are things like, so the Banshee, yes, they do a lot of singing events, but they're not the only ghost who does singing events. So if you base it, oh, well, they were singing, it has to be a Banshee, you're probably wrong. It probably isn't a Banshee at all. But the thing about a Banshee is once you have a parabolic microphone, you might hear that Banshee scream on the parabolic microphone. And then like this, like I told you about the Goryo, like you'll only see it on the video. It kind of tells you that, but kind of indirectly. It doesn't mention like you can be looking from another room on the video camera. It doesn't really tell you like where to do that. Another one that I usually like to cover is the Mimic, because this one makes it sound like the Mimic is a magician and he can just roam around creating chaos, doing whatever he wants. And in a way he kind of does. And I hate it. But he can't mimic evidence. So down here you see evidence, right? Like, so these are the things that you can get with a Mimic. You can get Spirit Box, UV, and Freezing Temps. On top of those 3 evidences, you would also get orbs. Okay? So the thing about a Mimic is it's not going to be like, oh, hey, we got dots and orbs. Maybe it's a Mimic. No. A Mimic can't mimic dots. It can't do EMF 5. It can't do ghost writing. It can't do those things. So if you have those things, it's definitely 100% not a Mimic. And that's really important because the things that it does mimic are abilities. So like the poltergeist I identified based on the fact that he threw a bunch of stuff, like a Mimic could do that, and you'd be like, oh my god, is this a poltergeist? Because a mimic has UV, a poltergeist has UV. But now it's mimicking the poltergeist ability. Or, like, a demon can hunt at any sanity, so a mimic could mimic a demon hunting and hunt at any sanity. Or, like, a Yurei is the only ghost that can close the exit door to the house, so that'd be the front door, outside of a ghost event. And so, like, a mimic could do that. So the mimic can do these abilities that these ghosts have, but it can't falsify your actual recorded evidence. So, I know he's annoying. He's very problematic and troublesome. But if you have dots or EMF5 or writing, it's definitely not a mimic. Please stay calm. It's not what it is. So, other than that, I will say, definitely, like, it's worth going through the book. It does give you a little bit of an idea about things. Like, it's not gonna, like, again, it's not very highly specific. It loosely goes over cursed possessions. The best thing to know about cursed possessions is that if your sanity is too low, a lot of the time they won't work. And even if you do have high sanity, using them takes your sanity away, and of course, lower sanity makes it more likely that the ghost is going to hunt you. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If you do decide to play with the cursed object again, I would wait until you have defense objects in front of you. Over here, just like a quick overview of what you'd be looking for. So when you're looking for the bone, it can be any one of these bones. It can be a skull, it can be the mandible, collarbone, spine, ribs, these little tiny like arm bones, hands, legs, femurs, all this. These are all different bones that can be in the map. There will only be one per map, and the locations can vary based on which house you're in, but that's what all those bones look like, just kind of for an idea of what you would be looking for when you're out there looking for them. As far as cursed objects, that's your monkey paw right there. This is a music box. Monkey paw can be kind of fun. You can bring people back to life if they do get killed. However, you have to remember, it's a monkey paw. If you've ever seen anything, even like a Simpsons episode, like, there can be consequences. There's a 50% chance that you die bringing that person back, that type of thing. There's consequences to everything. Knowledge, it can start a cursed hunt, it can kill people, it takes your vision, you can't hear anymore, it's all kinds of things. Music box, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a fan. I don't really care for it. You can use it, throw it down, possibly get a ghost photo. You could also just get murked by the ghost. I don't recommend it. I wouldn't touch it. Tarot cards are fun, especially if you play with friends, to do tarot roulette, to just kind of see who gets what. Like, you draw a card, drop it, next person draws a card, gives it to the next person, that type of thing, right? But this is what all these cards look like. The Fool, it's a joke. Like, it'll show us a different card, then it changes to this. The Hermit will keep the ghost in its room. The Moon takes all your sanity down to 0. The Sun gives you sanity back up to 100%. Wheel of Fortune, it's like a 50-50. Either it's going to give you a little bit of sanity or it's going to take a little bit of sanity. The Tower is a ghost event. The Devil is a ghost. How that happens, whether it's regular ghost, event type thing, or if he ends up hunting because your sanity is too low, it's kind of, crapshoot. Then you have the High Priestess, which if you draw that card, when someone dies, it randomly will bring somebody back. The Hanged Man immediately kills you if you draw this card, and Death is a cursed hunt. You have the Mirror. The Mirror is the one object that will show you the actual ghost favorite room. So that one's pretty good. If you use it, don't stand there and stare at it for 5 minutes. Just like lift it up for a second, see what that room is, drop the mirror, go find it. Summoning Circle is another good one for photos, but do not stand there, do not stand in the circle, do not stand by the circle. You light that thing, you get your picture, you run, because as soon as that thing is done, it's going to hunt and it will kill you. Voodoo Doll, the different pins do different things. They take sanity every time you use one. The one on the heart is the one that triggers the cursed hunt, so if you happen to be an unlucky individual who puts that pin, because you don't get to choose, just know you need to be ready for a hunt. Ouija board, you can ask questions. This one's actually kind of good if you happen to have a Fae, because you can ask the age of the ghost at the beginning of the match. You can also ask the age of the ghost, like, as the match progresses and see how much it ages. If it ages quickly, then it could be a Fae. I don't really use it that often, or ever. I usually turn cursed objects off, which I'll go over the modes later, but you get more money if you turn them off. So, like, they might be fun when you're playing in groups just to troll each other, but at the end of the day, I like making money, so I usually turn them These are just trophies. And that's just kind of what that is. So what we're going to do for the next run is I'm going to add in a little bit of a loadout with the defensive objects, and that way we can see what it looks like when you are not like bare bones once you get up to a certain level. Every time you prestige, you unlock a new loadout, so I have a couple here. What do I want to put on? I need to label these better. It's kind of like doo-doo right now. I'm going to leave it all tier 1 though. I made one for this. Starter. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put all the tier 1 stuff in here. Tripod, a sound... Oh god, the sound sensor. We'll talk about that sound sensor. It's trash. Sanity meds. I don't think I'll need it on amateur. We're just going to take one. Salt. I'm actually going to take a couple of those because that's good for photos. Photo camera, parabolic, motion sensor, incense, firelight, crucifix. I'll take 2 because they're terrible. Okay. So we're going to run through a match with this. So again, if you were just starting off, this is the only map you're going to have unlocked at first until, I'm going to be honest, I think level 3? Maybe level 2. Alright. Witness a ghost event, prevent the hunting with a crucifix, and capture a photo of the ghost. I hate this objective, I never get it. People who are alone. So this would be one if you're in a group when you do the spirit box, you have to be by yourself in the dark in the ghost's favorite room. Alright, so, I have 5 minutes to set up. I don't really care to take defensive items right now. I'm going to take my huge... I actually might take the camera in case I find the bone while I'm looking. Yeah, alright. So, of the defense objects, items, whatever you want to call them, that you get once you start unlocking stuff, that's your tier 1 crucifix. This is a tier 1 headset. Now, I don't use a tier 1 headset. Even when I'm in a group. Basically, all this is going to do, it doesn't offer any source of lights. Also, no, I did not prestige again. I'm, like, level 50-something. But I took off my name card just so I can explain that, like, separately, so people aren't like, what's that? So... Tier 1 headset doesn't really do anything. It's a camera, so like if your friends are wearing it and they actually remember to turn it on, if you have someone who's like van princessing for you, they could come over here and they could get, you know, like a Blair Witch Project view of what's going on. I don't use them. The tier 2s are pretty nice. A lot of people prefer them because it's basically like a little headlamp. It's just a flashlight. There's no camera involved. You walk around, you can kind of see they're not the greatest on the bigger maps. You go to Sunny Meadows or something, like, I actually like the night vision, which is a tier 3 headset, which you don't get to like level 85, I want to say, somewhere up there in the 80s. They kind of are blurry, but I like them because I can see in the dark. On Sunny Meadows, anywhere, it doesn't matter. Personal preferences, though. You know, we all have them. Alright, let me get in here and find this guy. So again, cold outside. If the breaker was off, if it was like professional or harder difficulty, I'm going to walk in the house. The likelihood I'll see my breath, a lot more likely because of the fact that it's already cold and snowing outside. But since the breaker's on when I go in, most places should be pretty warm. It's going to take a minute for it to register. Are you in the hallway again? Be so for real. It might be in the bathroom, though. He could be roaming. There's a couple of ghosts that roam towards you. Banshees can roam towards you. A wraith could teleport to you, so that can be kind of terrible. They won't teleport during the hunt, but right before they hunt, they could teleport to you and start hunting. So if you're like, oh my god, the ghost room was over there, how did it start over here and kill me? It probably roamed or teleported to you. Phantom's another one that'll teleport to you. They're not fun, and they're very hard to see during a hunt, and I don't like to be hunted by them. Because even if you incense them, sometimes you don't see them and then you run into them. Okay. Where is this ghost? Is he really in the hallway? No. He has to be in the living room or something. Hey, it's Bone! Oh, I brought the camera for that. Where was that? I'll figure it out in a minute. Okay. Actually, we're not cavemen, we have technology. So when the ghost touches something, a door, whatever, you can use the EMF usually to figure out where it is. All the tier 1 equipment's kind of doo-doo, not gonna lie to you about that. It's a lot easier to find with the better stuff. Kind of seems implied in the description there, but yeah, I don't know where he threw it, and I'm not getting the EMF reading. He's definitely up here somewhere. But where? So the biggest thing I'll definitely say is when you're investigating, the most important part is you have to go into the house. Because the craziest thing I see is people like standing outside on the front porch, like I don't know what they're doing. I'm just gonna be honest, so for real with you, I have no idea what they're doing. They're like deliberating on going inside, but I'm like, you definitely need to go inside to do the investigation. Also, lights, they exist for a reason. I need you to calm down over there, sir. Definitely use them, because when you have the lights off, your sanity drains, and that's what triggers the hunt. It's not because your individual sanity, is because most people who are new are walking around in the dark for reasons I've yet to understand. Maybe for the spooky factor, I don't really know. But that's why you're getting wrecked. It's because you're walking around in the dark. Don't do that. I just heard you open... What door was it? I walk around in the dark because I actually don't care about my sanity. If I die, I die. What are you touching? Dude. Maybe he's in this room. No? Bruh. This ghost is making me angry. This is also why I don't really care for amateur, because it takes so long because of the setup time. I prefer just going and the ghost just, you know, want to square up and kill me, honestly. Not that I want to be hunted, but it's just a lot faster figuring out what you're doing. Well, so shot he's in the basement, right? Come on, you got this. Are you in here? Oh, there's stuff thrown in here. He might be in here. Oh, I see my breath. This is the ghost room. I'm gonna throw the camera there. I already found the thing I need. Like I said, the EMF for the tier 1 is so bad. But, yeah. So, door touch, EMF 2. He's in here. So what I'm gonna do, since we're doing this with, like, our more... I use the term advanced tools very lightly here, but since we have our stuff like our tripod and our defensive objects on this run, we identified the ghost room. The first thing I'm going to do, now that I found it, is I'm going to go throw these crucifixes in so I can do stuff and it's not going to, you know, like, hunt and kill me. So I'm going to take UV because he's very handsy. I'm going to bebop back in here. I'm gonna throw down some crucifix. So with the crucifix, you can 100% throw it like that, and it's gonna protect you. I usually place them because when you're placing them, and I'll come back some so you can kind of see it, you'll see that glowing white ring. That's the radius in which it protects you from the hunt. So like this room's very small. It's not hard to cover. I do that because I'm used to a ghost roaming and starting a hunt, so that's just me habitually. Here we are again. He's playing the guitar. He's a very musical lad. But here we have that UV handprint. Grab the camera. Take a picture. So now I can mark in my book that I have the UV evidence. You touched anything else here, my lad? No. They can also, like, turn on this computer. You'll see little UV fingerprints on there. Turn on the lamp. Those types of things. They can touch all kinds of stuff in here. Alright, like I said, if you're ever by yourself doing an investigation and you have more than 3 brain cells, which I don't, you can walk over, look straight up at the sky, throw your thing, and then that way you can get your picture, because you obviously only get to use one hand in here. So, Next, let's see how. Oh, we have freezing temps. So freezing temps, this is important. Even if you played Phasmo, the very, very original Phasmo, when you see your breath, it does not mean freezing temps. So when you see your breath, that means you found the ghost's favorite room. You can also determine that by like your ghost orbs, that type of thing. But freezing temps are just freezing temps. So it's below 0 Celsius, below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That is what is true freezing temps. I don't like this because this could be a demon. Alright. Could also be the mimic, so that should be fun. Alright. I heard knocking. Anyway, so we're gonna get a couple more things. We've got it down to these ghosts, and we're gonna go grab the rest of our equipment and finish setting up. We do have the tools and resources here to actually do these. I'm gonna be honest, I can't even do this with a tier 3 camera. The likelihood that this is gonna happen is unlikely. Ghost event, hopefully they're pretty active on this. We did run on time. Prevent the ghost, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so my sanity is still like 100%. So I literally have nothing to worry about at this point. I'm not worried about taking in my incense. It's not gonna, like, unless it's a demon, it could try to hunt, but neither here nor there. It'll be fine. Let me take all these. And once I set up, I'll talk about like the extra items you can use and how they're used and that type of thing. Again, I'm going to turn this off to see if there's orbs. So that's what your ghost orbs look like. Now, it is a little bit easier to either see them on the tier 2, tier 3 cameras, or if you're looking in the truck since the screen is a lot bigger. But if you look at that little teeny tiny screen, you'll see little tiny ghost orbs. That's what the ghost orbs are. That's what they look like. I think it's actually updated because I swear on the tier 1... Oh, look, another handprint. Are there any on this door? Let me see. What is that? EMF 2. Unimpressive. So, alright. Let me check this off. Alright, so we got ghost orbs. Now, it could, true to life, be a Hantu. But as we discussed before, a mimic is ultraviolet freezing temp spirit box, and then you see ghost orbs. So before I actually true to life say that this is in fact a Hantu, I'm going to make sure I don't get spirit box to make sure it's not a mimic. I, however, will not need that now, and I won't need this. I'm just going to throw it there. I don't really care. Did you touch anything else? Because I do want to get my photos. Did you touch this light switch? Nah. Alright. Hey! He touched this door now. Alright, wait. Oh! Yeah. Camera! Camera! There we go. You in here? You gonna do something? You about that life? What are you throwing? Just throw something in here? Throw something out here? Oh, we're roaming? That's cute. I love roamers. So, that's another thing to remember too. It doesn't mean that the ghosts change rooms, especially if you're on amateur and he can change rooms. The ghost can roam. So, like, the ghost has a favorite room. You will collect your evidence in the favorite room. You'll get your freezing temps in there. Your ghost orbs are going to be in there. Like, the only ones that can be kind of squirrely is UV, because obviously if it's a ghost that leaves UV evidence and he touches a door outside his favorite room, the likelihood that he leaves UV evidence does exist. But you're not going to get, like, your ghost orbs outside the favorite room. The freezing temps are going to be in the favorite room. So if he's running around doing stuff, that's just a ghost roaming. It's something they can do. Don't get bamboozled. However, if you do start playing on more difficult, you know, settings like Nightmare, Insanity, that type of thing, just remember that it can start changing rooms on those, and that you will need to be checking your temps to see where that ghost has gone, so you don't get wrecked. Camera? Camera. How many pictures have I taken? Okay, I still have a couple left. I have 3 left. Alright. So let's go get our spirit box so we can see if this is a mimic. Spirit box. Alright. Come along, little friend. I will say the only time I truly love a mimic is when I'm playing 0 evidence, because even on 0 evidence, you'll still get those orbs. So, like, you don't really even have to think. If you have ghost orbs on zero evidence, 100% a mimic. It's a mimic. Alright, well, you were really bad at hiding that information. So since I got Spirit Box, and this is what'll happen, it's the mimic. We have all the things. Alright, so the thing about mimics is I don't really like to get hunted by them because you don't know who or what he's mimicking. So you don't really know at what sanity he's gonna hunt. You don't know how he's gonna hunt. You don't know what kind of ghost abilities he may use. He can literally do anything. He's one of the ones I don't really mess around with. I have had a mimic that mimicked a Dio, and I almost got killed because I thought it was a different ghost, and I was hiding during a hunt, and then I was like, oh my god, it's mimicking a Dio. So, if you don't know, Diogens are the one ghost you can't hide from. If you are hiding, it's going to run straight to your hiding spot. They are easy to deal with if you know you're dealing with it. They're the slowest ghost on the freaking planet. You can outwalk him at 50% speed and no sprint, so. Alright, so our other items that we have. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over is the sound sensor, okay? The sound sensor, especially on tier 1, tier 2, are kind of useless. Again, it's going to cover a very small radius. It's not going to help you. I do sometimes, especially if I'm playing with other people and I have the tier 3 sound sensor, I'll put it in the house so that when they're in the van, if we have somebody just kind of monitoring everything, they can hear stuff going on. Like when the ghost is hunting, they can hear footsteps, so you can kind of hear the ghost speed, those types of things. Maybe you have a Ure, you'll hear the double door touch, the door slams, those types of things. But all in all, especially tier 1, it's kind of useless. And by kind of, I mean, don't waste your money. The other items we have, so your motion sensor, this is kind of helpful depending on the situation. Sometimes there's actually an objective for it to get a ghost to walk through a motion sensor. But let's just say you think you might have a wraith and you put down salt and you don't know if the ghost is just like not stepping in the salt or the ghost is like bebopping around the room and just like avoiding it. You can put down the motion sensor near your salt, and if it's walking through that motion sensor repeatedly and never touching the salt, it's a lot easier to be like, yeah, that's probably a wraith. I don't really need it for this particular scenario. I'm just gonna leave it in here. And then of course you have like your matches, lighters, whatever it ends up being depending on tier, which you'll use. One, make sure you always pick these up, okay? Because once you have your incense, if you don't have a lighter or matches or something, you're not gonna light this incense. So if you're trying to light it while the ghost is chasing you, you're just gonna die. And I've done this as recently as yesterday. So, just make sure you have your lighter. Candles, this is another one that, like, you can use for objectives. So you can carry around, like, the tier 3 firelights, and it helps with your sanity drain. They look more like lanterns than actual candles. These, unless I have an objective, where it says, like, get a ghost to blow out a firelight, I'm not really going to use it. And then you have your sanity stuff, so if you are trying to do an investigation, let's just say you got ghost evented pretty hard, like a Jinn, if it's near the breaker and it uses its ability, can just like leech your freaking sanity in a way that you've never experienced before, and you're like, crap, I don't want it to hunt, I haven't finished getting all my evidence, or whatever the situation may be, you can use, you know, sanity medication, raise your sanity. Then you have your parabolic. Tier 1 parabolic, I'm going to be honest, outside of, you know, getting objectives, it's kind of trash. It's not really going to help you a whole lot. You'll hear little whispers, but the thing I've noticed a lot of people do with this is they hear whispers and they think the ghost is actually saying something. It's not. I mean, it's making noise, yes, you are correct, but I've seen people walk around with this, like, trying to identify the ghost room and asking it questions like it's a spirit box. It is not a spirit box. It's not intelligent answers. It's literally, for me, an objective completing tool. Until you get closer to like tier 2, tier 3. Tier 2 is a little bit better. It has a better range, but it's going to be for the floor that you're on. So it'll have a little screen and it can tell you how far away the sound was, that type of thing. Not going to be super helpful on like big maps as far as identifying where exactly the ghost is. Honestly, outside of completing objectives, I won't use the parabolic until I have the tier 3. Because if I'm going to a bigger map like Sunny Meadows or the high school or the prison, your tier 3 parabolic can actually tell you like if the sound was the floor above you, if it's the floor you're on, how far away it is, and that type of thing. So when you hear the ghost like door touching or, you know, flicking on lights or turning off lights, you'll actually pick up those sounds. Whereas with the the lower level parabolic, you don't get that as much. And the thing to remember with all the parabolic mics is it does pick up ambient sounds, which are just like creaks, cracks, bangs, those types of things. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. It would just be those sounds that you're looking for, like the ghost touching a door. It's just really helpful on big maps when you have the tier 3 to kind of identify a general direction. Like, am I going upstairs? Am I going downstairs? Am I going to the left? Am I going to the right? It is very helpful in kind of identifying where you need to go. And then your salt. So your tier 1 salt, you only get 2 uses per bottle. Tier 2, it'll be white salt again. It'll make a whole line. You'll get 3 lines. And then the tier 3 will be a black salt. The salt at this level is literally for the purpose of taking photos, identifying a wraith, that type of thing. You'll put this down, ghost steps in salt, ghost not wraith. And if it does UV, like this is a UV ghost that I have right now, you can get UV footprints. A tier 3 salt, though, the black salt, actually has an additional effect where it can actually slow the ghost. Like if you put it down and it's hunting you and you have it run through the salt, it would actually slow the ghost down. But this salt's more for funsies than for actual function. Have you turned off the light? Oh, this is good too. Now you can see the ghost orb a little bit better. It's not as tiny as it was from the actual camera. But that's what those ghost orbs look like on the tier 1 camera. You won't see so much of that weird little blue tail once you have the better cameras, but it's just kind of how it is. On tier 1, it has a weird little tail. But we'll put down some salt just so we can see what that looks like, unless he's mimicking a wraith, which would be super annoying. Now, we'll see if we can witness a ghost event. He's a little bit more active now, so hopefully he's mimicking something less boring. He turned off the lights, he sucks. Alright. I'll just throw one of those. I guess I have to take this because my camera's inside. I hate this. We know he's not mimicking a djinn. Because a djinn can't turn off the breaker. I could have looked at the map. I'm so used to not being able to see on the map where the breaker is. I just kind of instinctively go in the house looking for it. Alright, I'm gonna go back up here. What was the cursed object? I didn't get a picture of it. It's not tarot cards, it's not mirror. It's probably the music box. Piece of crap. It's not the monkey paw. Is it Mr. Wiggles? Ah, it is Mr. Wiggles. I'm gonna get a picture of you. Oh wait, I can't. My hands are full. Well. Hey! I need a picture of you! Hold on! Fuck! I don't even have the camera. You suck. Alright. Anyway. So those types of ghost events, like the ghost walk through me, that probably took some of my sanity. Normal ghost event, depending on what ghost that ghost happens to be mimicking right now, since it is a mimic. They usually take like 15%. You have certain ghosts like an Oni, who on certain events can take like 20. And then there's certain ghost abilities like the poltergeist, depending on how many items it throws, how much sanity it'll take, that type of stuff. My camera was in here anyway. You can take pictures of door touches, if you catch it right too. But I really... What? Yeah, I really want you to step in the salt so I can show this. Are we mimicking a wraith right now? Is that why you were in the garage with me? I really don't have time for that. Can you just not? Step in the salt, you troll? Alright. This ghost is not being my friend. What did you just touch? Oh, he turned on the bathroom light. So let's just pretend this wasn't a mimic. There is a ghost that can't do that. A mare cannot turn lights on. So if you have a ghost that's turning lights on, you can rest assured that it's not a mare. We already know it's a mimic though. Anyway, so yeah. Like I said, they can step through the salt. Good way to know it's not a wraith. And you can get some little UV feetsies. Apparently ghosts don't wear shoes. Anyway, but yeah, so you can take pictures of each individual pile of salt or line of salt, depending on which salt you have. You can take a picture of the footprint. I don't know if I'm gonna get a picture of this ghost because he's not forthcoming with this right now. I could just stand in the dark to drop my sanity. I do have a incense, right? So I don't always recommend standing in the ghost room to drop sanity. In this particular case, I do have the crucifixes down. Kind of like hopeful that it works out. You could take the crucifix with you somewhere, stand in the dark somewhere else, so if it did, you know, if it happens to be a wraith or if it's mimicking a wraith, it wouldn't just teleport on top of you, start hunting you, and kill you. What are my objectives besides the photo? Preventing and... oh god, preventing. Okay, come on. Where are you? Did I get him? Yes! Yes! Okay, really exciting moment for me because I hardly ever get that. So, fun fact, so you can see this guy in here, right? So when you can see the ghost, that means it's definitely not a phantom. Because a phantom will disappear when you take a photo. And that includes if it's in dots. When you take the photo, you'll just have a photo to be like 3-star ghost photo, but no ghost. Just fun for everybody to know about that. You're real handsy with these doors, guy. You're very touchy with the doors. Are you mimicking a Yurei right now? My god, a poltergeist? What are you doing? What is this ghost even mimicking? Anyway, whatever he's mimicking, he's very active. Alright, so I'm just gonna hold my little incense and stand here in the dark. Hope for the best. Hope these crucifixes actually work. If not, I'll just die. That's fine too. That's what it is. I will say, on the lower difficulties, it takes a lot longer. Hey, guy! Here, this actually should help. There we go. So, obviously, like I said, walking into them will help with dropping your sanity, because it takes sanity, those ghost events do. And, like I said, also, depending on your sanity, depends on when the ghost hunts. So, I want my sanity to drop so that this ghost... Yes, thank you! I meant to send you a picture of that. I'll have to do that after the stream and send you the stream elements thing. So you can see what I did there. But yeah, it's a real fun time trying to drop your sanity. Feels like forever. But once you go into harder difficulties, it happens a lot faster. Still see my breath in here. Still a ghost room. What are you mimicking right now, dude? Please don't mimic. Oh, hey, what up? Wait, why did I turn the light on? Turn that back off. Anyway. So something else to mention, while I'm standing here in the dark waiting for this guy to drop my sanity. So as you saw that ghost that's come towards me, he is a Krampus ghost model. He's part of the holiday event. Once the holiday event is over, you will no longer see Krampus, but just for the point of reference of why I'm bringing that up is sometimes people see a certain ghost model and they think that somehow is connected to the type of ghost. It's not. So like for the event, it's the event ghost. Could you not? I'm trying to talk, you're rude. Brother. Anyway, this ghost is rude. So, with the ghost model, really irrelevant to the ghost type. When you're listening on the parabolic, like I said, the sounds, it's just preset, it's not intelligent, it's just what it is, they're all gonna sound the same. It doesn't matter if the ghost name is Jeff or if the ghost name is Jamie, male, female, doesn't matter. Calm down there, Pulte, mimic, doesn't matter. Hooray! Let me take that. Alright, cool. So we got all... I can't walk. Got all of our objectives. But the only thing about the ghost model that ever will matter is if you are watching a hunt or you have a ghost hunting you, an Obaki will shapeshift. Now that doesn't mean that like during a hunt the ghost is standing during one hunt and then it's crawling on the next. If the ghost model is still the creepy tooth-faced child, that's not shapeshifting. That's just being creepy. But if you have the creepy tooth-faced child, and then during one of those hunts, it blinks into, say, the creepy lady with the lacerated arms and the cut-up face for 1 second, that's a shapeshift. When it changes ghost model completely. It doesn't matter if they're standing, sitting, crawling, cartwheeling, it's irrelevant. All that matters is that the same ghost model that started? That's it. But the model itself is irrelevant to the ghost. The cursed object doesn't matter. What this guy says doesn't matter. None of it matters. And also, like I said, so this, I dropped my sanity pretty low before I would even try to hunt. So, like, looking at this, like, just because the ghost is active doesn't mean it's trying to kill you. Even if this hits 10, it doesn't mean that it's a hunt that is trying to kill you. It can mean a ghost event. It can mean that you had a poltergeist blow up a gigantic pile of crap that you made because you think it's funny. It doesn't mean hunt, so if everyone's sanity is pretty square and you don't have evidence suggesting it's a demon, I'd calm down. And just try to figure out what you got. Let me make sure I circled it. This is the big part. Make sure you circled it. Because I've definitely left without doing that. I got the bone. Alright, so we should have a perfect investigation. So perfect investigation just means that you have all 3 star photos, you found the bone, you completed all your objectives, and you correctly identified a ghost type.
Welcome back. There's some
Oh
jobs
my god,
ready
it
for
was
you.
the mimic! No way! So perfect investigation does give you an additional bonus, right? Since you did all right, so you get an extra $225 for doing all that. That is what it is. So, with that being done, I'm gonna actually go into this. So obviously I made my card look a little, basic so that it was like a little more connected to what you would actually see when you first start. If you happen to start playing at the tail end of this event, or if you happen to be part of the event, this tree that you see that has these presents and very aggressive snow flying off of it, for most people is flashing. If you walk over and click on this tree a couple of times, you will unlock a name card. And you get this little Krampus head that throws confetti everywhere. It was part of the little community event, which is why you also... Well, I'm not sure. I've actually seen people who don't have this. I guess if you didn't take part of... Okay, somebody cheated so hard to be in the top. That is actually insane. Anyway, yeah. So you can go over here. Once you click on your Christmas tree, or if you do the challenges, we'll go over the challenges in a minute. And you'll hit this little pencil, and this is where you'll edit your name card. Now, when you very first start, if you have not participated in an event, or you have not completed a challenge, like, you're not going to have any until you prestige, which we'll go over that as well. So, if you're new, you're not going to have all these. These are prestige badges. Prestige basically just means you got all the way to level 100, and you go back to the main screen like this, and up here beside this will be a blue button that will say prestige. So you have to be at least level 100 to prestige, and then you'll get a prestige card and you get badges. You see these little 2 circles, kind of, sort of, and you'll be able to put stuff there. So let's just say you have a prestige, right? Special badges. So the one for the event, once you click the tree, looks like this. Alright, so you'll still have this weird little grayed out area if you have not prestiged, until you do. Once you prestige, your prestige level will be the second one. So after your first prestige, it looks like that. Second, third, fourth, fifth. That's where I'm at. I'm working on my 6th right now. And every time you prestige, it'll also come with a badge. If you happen to, like, remove the event one, it would look like this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes all the way up to 20. Once you hit level 20 prestige, you don't get the prestige anymore. You just infinitely keep going up in levels. So you could be prestige 20, level 1150. It doesn't matter. There's nothing beyond prestige 20 at this point in time. Just so you know, I'm trying to get to, like, I don't know if it's 6 maybe? I don't know. There's a prestige card that I really, really like that I want, that I'm working towards. But I usually leave this one on, and that's usually what my badge looks like. So to get some of these other special badges, events of course, so like the holiday event, this was the Halloween event, this is the Lighthouse Easter egg if you ever complete that, this was the Camp Woodland or Camp one, this was the Asylum, and then there's the Apocalypse ones. So for the this says event, but to get certain special badges, there's different challenges here that it apparently hates me and won't let me look at. Here we go. So they'll all tell you when you click on them what exactly you need to do. So you have to go to Point Hope Lighthouse, identify the ghost and survive. So you just have to go in, figure out what the ghost is, don't die. That's it. And you have to do it 50 times. And then you get the Lighthouse Keeper badge. I don't play the Lighthouse very often because it's a little buggy sometimes, and I strongly urge people on console to use caution because I've noticed Xbox players are getting kicked pretty regularly off this map. For a while there it was PlayStation. It seems like we shifted gears and now we're kicking in the Xbox people. Then you have your Ranger Challenge. This one can be either of the camp locations. Again, you're just going to identify and survive. Sunny Meadows, this is regular size Sunny Meadows, so once you actually unlock the map, you'll see there's Sunny Meadows, and there's Sunny Meadows Restricted. Restricted is 1/5 of the Sunny Meadows map, like the rest would just be boarded off, but you cannot get this by playing Restricted. You have to play the full-size map. This one's for achievements, which you'll see your achievements either on your console or in Steam or whatever. There's different ones. There's actually one for getting killed by a demon in the first like 60 seconds of the game. I've almost finished it. I have to finish like 3 more weekly challenge modes or something, and then I'll be done with this one. This was the actual winter one that I was just talking about. So when you see those weird little Krampus boxes or Jack-in-the-Box that's on the map and stuff like that, this is what it was tied to, was this event. As you can see, there's 2 days remaining, so not much longer. And these are Apocalypse Challenge. So these challenges right here can be done in groups. These challenges have to be done single player. You cannot do this in a group. And basically you go in, you don't have to find the bone, you don't have to perfect your investigation, however, has to be single player, your multiplier has to be 6 times or higher, you have to identify the ghost, survive, do all the optional objectives, and take a photo. And then it goes up. Like this is 10x, and then this is a 15x, which is the most challenging one. And they all have to be done on Sunny Meadows full size. It cannot be restricted. I don't want to worry too much about those starting off. Obviously, I just worry about leveling up and moving up your equipment, the tiers, and try to get into that stuff. Another good way to get extra money and to move up and get extra XP and that type of thing is to do your daily and weekly task. So like this one was pretty simple. Getting a ghost photo, playing, literally just playing a map was one of them. Play with another investigator and do event points, and then the weeklies, which I've already completed, give you the most. 3-star photos, parabolic sounds, event points. And then there's one that, ooh, is this an hour? Is this going to reset in an hour or a day? Oh my god, I think it resets an hour. Frick, yeah. The challenge mode. So if you ever want to do the challenge mode, like this one says, complete challenge mode in 6 Tanglewood Drive. So what you'll do for that, like this one you had to complete it 3 times. You just had to go in and identify the ghost. You don't even have to survive for that if you correctly identify the ghost. So you could go in, be like, oh my god, it's a demon. You correctly identify it, you die. You still get credit. You're going to do it 3 times. Rewards aren't too high until you complete it on the 3rd time. But when you do those, you'll just go in here and go to challenge mode. It'll give you a little bit of an idea of what it is. It doesn't tell you specifically what it is. This one was called Speedrun. Basically, it was all tier 3 equipment. You were fast as crap, and you would run in and get all your evidence and leave. Not bad. Some of them are not great. There's Hide and Seek Extreme. Not fun. Did not enjoy. Did not have a good time. Very death. And sometimes they'll be at big maps. This one, very kindly, is at Tanglewood, so it's super easy because it's a tiny map. It's the first map. It's the OG map. It's you. Sometimes it'll be at like the high school or something, which I don't even like to go to high school on a good day. So that's just what that is. Now, once you actually hit level 10, you know, you'll... Where am I right now? There we go. You'll unlock intermediate. Just to kind of go over what some of these things are, because I notice a lot of people will be like, oh my god, let's play on intermediate. Or they have somebody who's a little bit higher level and they're like, oh, we'll play on professional. And people think that, like, the ghost is more aggressive or it's more difficult, that type of thing. One, you can go in here and you can kind of read what each mode does. It doesn't give you specifics if you go right here. They're not necessarily harder ghosts. So once you start moving up in difficulty, so like this one is super easy, you have a long time to set up. This, basically, you go to intermediate, you just don't have as much time to set up. The ghost is still not going to be any different than the ghost in amateur. It's just that you aren't going to have as many hiding spots, and your lights aren't going to be on when you walk in. You'll have to walk to the fuse box, but it'll still tell you where the fuse box is. So it's not too bad. Professional, you just don't have setup time. And for me, that's not bad. I'd rather the ghost is more active and doing something than I walk in anyway. It makes the investigation faster. You get more money, obviously, like your rewards are ×3 instead of ×1. That type of thing. And then you'll have like Nightmare, which is basically you go down to 2 evidence instead of 3. You don't have startup. Your screens will be broken, all that for a 4x. And then Insanity is your one time. Once you hit level 50, you get the ability to do custom modes, which is really important that people realize that custom modes, you still get money. And they're actually, to me, better than a lot of the default modes, like the default Nightmare mode and that type of thing, because I like to be able to see my sanity and I like to see the activity screen, because it helps in identifying the ghosts, because you do have ghosts like a yokai that can hunt at a higher sanity, and an Onryo can hunt at a higher sanity, Deojin hunts at a lower sanity, Shade hunts at a lower sanity, you know, Demon hunts at a high sanity. Like, there's different ghosts who can hunt at different sanities, like, even though the average is kind of 50, Banshees hunt at like a individual versus a group sanity, that type of thing. So I like to be able to see my sanity, so if it burns a crucifix, I know, hey, this ghost tried to hunt and my average sanity is 60, so what is this? Because it's not going to be all these other things that can't hunt at a 60% sanity. So that's important to know too. Obviously, I'm not going to go through every single one of those types of things right now. That would take quite a minute, and I'd probably have to make a whole separate video on that. But I'm sure there's plenty of resources on the internet where you can look up like what sanity most ghosts hunt at. And of course, just remember, that's the average. It's not the rule. Have I had a yokai that could have actually choked me when I had 85% sanity, not hunt until 30% sanity? Yeah. So it's just kind of a guiding piece more than a absolute. What I will say with the custom modes, though, which is nice, that'll give you a better idea of what you're actually dealing with. You can look at the player, the ghost, and the contract, like the different settings. So if you're wondering, which one of these do I care the least about? This one. This one's easy enough to set up. If you're wondering what the exact settings are, and if you have got to level 50, you've unlocked, hit the little pencil, and you can go up to preset. So, like, you can click on amateur, it'll tell you exactly what these settings are. And so you can look that your starting sanity is 100, sanity pills give you 40% restoration, your drain speed's 100, sprinting's on, your flashlights are on. You can look at your ghost speed, the roaming frequency, you can see it doesn't change rooms, what the activity level, the event frequency, whether or not, well, friendly ghost automatically makes your reward 0. Grace period, hunt duration, evidence given, how long your fingerprints will stay there, your setup time, the weather, like literally you can look at all the things, right? You can do that for all of them to get an idea of what actually changes from these different modes. Oh no, please don't save that. And then like intermediate, so if you look at it, like your changes, your drain speed went from 100 to 150. Sanity pills restore 5% less. Starting sanity is still the same. That has not changed. You still get your evidence. It's still the same hunt duration. Your grace period went down by 1 second. Event frequencies actually increased, which actually takes away money, which is weird. But I guess it's because newer players are going to get spooked by those events, so they have it turned down. Whatever. Maybe that's the perception that it's like more aggressive. It's just that the event frequency is higher. It doesn't mean anything. Your roaming is still the same. Your ghost speed is the same. Your setup time is now, shorter. It's 2 minutes instead of 5. Your door's starting open. Now you'll go in. A couple of doors can be open. You still have a lot of hiding places. Your only difference is the fuse box is off here. You can still see it on the map. You still have first possessions. And then you can also look at professional. Again, same here. 5% less here. Your sanity drain is now 200%, which means being in the dark is more detrimental. So you definitely want to be in the light when you're on professional because your sanity goes down faster. Honestly, even on 200%, it still takes forever to get down when you're trying to drop to like 25. It can start changing rooms once you go to professional, meaning you might have identified the ghost room. Now it's changed. It went to a different room. Your activity level is now low, which sometimes makes it harder to identify where they are because they're not interacting with things as much. Your event frequency is again still medium. Grace period has now gone down another second. The hunt duration is now high, meaning it hunts for longer than it previously did. Your evidence is the same. The duration's the same for your fingerprints. Your fuse box, again, same as previous mode. So it's not like crazy changes. Now you have medium instead of high hiding spots, medium doors open, whatever. It's really not until you hit Nightmare that it starts being more, involved with what has changed. Sanity pills go down to 25. You still have 100% starting sanity, but you will see you drop down to 2 evidence. Hunt duration so high, your grace period's down to 2 seconds. This is weird to me that they put the events up to high, which I think is where people get the perception the ghost is more active, because you actually get more money to turn this down. I don't know. I guess when you have less evidence, people perceive it to help you find it, but there's other ways to find a ghost outside of that. And then, of course, you have no setup time. Your doors opens high, low hiding spots, and this is what I usually change because I hate these being off. But that's why, like, if you see people playing custom modes, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the hardest one. No, please don't save that. Why do I keep hitting that? As you see, I have different ones. This is my Apocalypse 3 one, which the only thing I changed on this was that I could see my activity monitor because it helped me identify some of the ghosts, like when it was the twins and poltergeists and that type of thing. But I usually like to do custom modes because I, again, like to have my screen on so I can do Nightmare and actually get more money because I changed the settings. I still get my 2 evidence, get more money, still have my screens on because I just kind of tweak it. I just change a couple of things because everything that you toy with, like, changes it. So if you go in here, what do I have it on currently? Nightmare? Insanity? I don't know. Nightmare, right? So if you go in here and, like, put your sanity at 75, which means it can hunt when you walk in. Leave that on. Flashlights on. Sometimes I do turn those things off. Roaming high. I actually don't like it to change rooms. Activity, event frequency, low, don't care. Friendly ghosts off too. I go down here. I actually make that medium because why? 2 given. I turn this all the way down because I'm going to be in there anyway. I'm already going to know. Setup time. Door starting open's fine. Hiding place is fine. Sanity monitor on. Fuse box off. And then I turn off cursed possessions. And there goes that huge, like, 30% bonus to just turn off your cursed possessions. Like I said, I don't use them. They can be good for getting ghost photos. Yes, the summoning circle makes it easier, but my god, I'd rather have the money personally. That's just me. Can't speak for anyone else, but that's just kind of how that works. That's just a basic rundown of the game and kind of what it looks like getting started. Like I said, I've just seen some really crazy things and ideas, and I hope this helps even one person with, like, looking at this and being like, oh, I need to go in the house with the lights on and find the ghost and not run out screaming every time something moves. Especially with that 5-minute setup time, and especially not to lean too heavily on what these things say because they will mislead you heavily. I probably will make a subsequent video just about the different ghost types and kind of the nuances around those and what you'll see with them, but this was more just like a if you just downloaded this game or bought this game today, what would your first few rounds look like? Pretty much from level 0, 1 to 10. Yeah. So that's all I really aim to do today. It was just kind of a bonus stream. I don't usually stream on Sundays anyway. So I'm actually going to get off of here. I do appreciate the people who stopped in, said hello. I know for most of my friends this is probably pretty boring because we play this game and most people know this game. But this was more for the purpose of making a video to help other people. And just figured I'd stream it as a bonus. But hope everyone has a super fantastic rest of their Sunday. And I will probably see you guys tomorrow. Bye guys.